Hey, gentlemen, just gonna wait for everyone to jump in real fast. Appreciate your patience. I think we had like one more. Close the ladies. I just want her to hear this as well. Hang tight. Mike, you don't have any scene? Because what I'm doing today, I think you would benefit from.
Well, I sent you
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah, and I just wanted to make sure it was good before I moved on.
But do you have like a script right now that we could do that we've been working on? Whatever the last script was that we were working on, can you pull that and post it really fast? And then give me just a quick second. My son just got here. Let me just give him a hug real quick.
Okay.
I can't go anywhere. Was I supposed to? No. Okay. Okay, thanks. Oh shit, I thought I muted it. I'm glad I did. Nice. Oh, damn. I thought they were together. Okay, cool. I see. Okay.
You separate so you can use the crowbar.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Okay. Thank you. I love you, son. Bye. Hello. That was Mike I was talking to. Nothing like a son who brings you brand new tools. He's brought me a hammer and a crowbar. All right.
Wow.
He's dope. All right. In lieu of flowers. Let's see. So everybody can, I believe, benefit from what we're doing, and I'm going to want everybody to do it. So, Mike, the very last scene that you and I that we did in class, whatever that was, can you just cue that up?
Yeah, I think I can. I'll pull up the military one. I think that
Whichever one it was, I'll leave that to you. But because I'm gonna hop back over to these guys, to the guys.
Okay.
Question I was asking about Euphoria. How do y'all feel? It doesn't matter if you've seen the show or if you haven't. Based off of what we have just heard, that was in the dialogue for this character. How do y'all feel about, or how do y'all think Rue feels about the situation with her father? So this is a child who lost her dad at a relatively young age. So how does she feel about that? I mean, what are her feelings about it? Does it sound, I guess the better question is, does it sound like she's healed from it? Does it sound like she's even really sort of begun to deal with and process the loss?
No.
Is that
Not
your
at
best
all.
British no? Dork.
No.
So tell me, what are some of the feelings that, let's just in terms of like some of the leftover residual feelings from that, what are some of those emotions, if we could describe them at any given time, that this child is carrying around?
Well, I mean, easily identifiable is the distress around it, you know?
The stress?
Yeah, distress.
For
Like,
sure.
The
On a day to day. Go ahead, Lydia.
just like the unfairness of it, like injustice.
Sure. Yeah. And then, oh, by the way, I love the wall, the color of that wall. If you have a space, like if you have a 3 foot by 5 foot space anywhere on that wall that you could use as a backdrop.
My kitchen wall?
Pardon?
My kitchen wall?
Whatever, if you can find it. If not, I
Oh.
understand. Yeah. Oh man, you could do that right there. But just because I love, first of all, I love the color, but that would make a great color for backdrop. Anyway. What was I saying? What are some of the feelings that she carries around with her? And everybody apply it to yourselves and in your own life. If you've not experienced loss of someone that you love, and loss can come in many different forms. It doesn't have to mean death. It could be losing a friendship or losing, someone you loved or whatever. But loss of a human being that has left you, that has really devastated you, and that you still sort of, it's still a sore spot, and maybe in a lot of ways you feel has shaped the person that you've become. Some people have that, some people don't. Kristen, can you relate in any way to that feeling of having lost somebody, whether it's a friend or something else, where it just like you feel like that was really unfair?
I wouldn't say, like, I've lost, like, in a family, probably like one person. Like, there's death around my family, but
Yeah.
one
What
person
about loss of a friendship? or a teacher that you really liked, or I don't know, shit, it could even be a pet, y'all. Like Mike had a really close, had a dog that he loved, like, like crazy, that I think if you were to tell it even to this day, it still hurts him to think about it. And you feel like, why did it have to go? Why did he or she have to go? But everyone at this age, everyone pretty much should have experienced something similar to that. So take a second, everybody, whoever already knows off the top, man, I was gonna swipe that. What? I'm your mama. That's a gift. Damn, you catch something on fire. Anybody else?
Oh yeah.
You have one, Nick? Yeah, somebody
Yeah.
very, tell me about it if you're okay with that.
I like it.
Yeah.
Megan said.
I mean, I had
No, don't let her paint over it, dude. Go ahead, Nick.
I was in college. I was what? I think I was a junior. Yeah. And I had a friend who was still in high school. I think he had just turned 18, that he committed suicide. And he was one of the few guys. I didn't have a whole lot of like close friends in high school, but he was one of the few that I did, and he was younger than me. So it was kind of like, it was kind of like I was an older cousin, or like an extension of a brother, right? And I didn't really get the chance to process that for many reasons, until kind of the past few years. And I mean, I had a moment when I was in the car. I don't know how it came up, but it did, just kind of thinking about him. And like, I think the biggest sadness is that there's not the possibility that I'm going to see him again, or I'm going to hear from him again. Right. And that kind of hits me, because it's like, I'm kind of used to people coming in and out of my life. Right. And so it's normal, but this is like, okay, that's the chance of that is not even open. Right. Like that, the door's closed. This, for my life, it's usually not like I'm going to close the door and move on. It's like, oh, I'm going to like leave this area, but the option is still to open the door back up and reach out. And it's like, that's not even a possibility. And it's just kind of like gone now. And I think one of the biggest things that I cried about, and kind of still do every now and then, is that I never really got to say a proper goodbye. We were all getting pizza the last time I was there visiting high school, the ROTC unit in the theater department, and just all my friends that were still there. And we did this thing where like I would put my, like the top of my head, kind of like headbutt the stomach a little bit, and then just kind of like we'd sit there and then just kind of like smack each other's backs. It's really, really weird, but like I only did that with him and one other dude. And we were kind of like beating each other up a little bit, right? Making fun of each other as we do. And then one of the things was he just kind of started running, right? And I was like, well, I'm too tired. I'm not going to run after him, right? He doesn't realize, he's probably running home. He doesn't realize that I'm not going to have time to hang out tomorrow. I'm driving back to school in the morning. And then I was like, tell him I say goodbye. I'll catch him next time, right? And then I never did.
Oh my goodness. That's so sad. Isn't that
Yeah.
interesting though, how you remember all of the details of, what are seemingly, I won't say insignificant, but just, I guess if he were still alive, it would be just a kind of an insignificant moment. And how, ends up becoming so much bigger than that once you lose the person.
Yeah.
So off of that then, how do you think that might have shaped you? May I ask at what age that was?
I was a junior in college, so I was 21, maybe.
Okay.
At that point, maybe still 20.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was 18.
yeah.
Um,
Those
I,
are the,
I know how it shaped me.
how?
Because I kind of got asked, like, you know, when I was, especially in high school growing up, we were kind of shitty to each other, like as friends, right? Like that, when you really start like dogging on each other, that's when, you know, you guys are close friends, when you guys call each other asshole and whatnot, and just kind of like
Yeah,
play hit each other. And I don't do that anymore, like at all. But towards anybody, I'm kind of like, you know, if I enjoy being around you, yeah, there'll be some teasing and whatnot, but it's mostly like the genuine appreciation for our time together, and I don't really leave anything like that anymore. I'm much more expressive about the love that I have for my friends, and kind of always leaving a situation like that. I don't do what's called the Irish goodbye. You just kind of disappear, right? I
yeah,
don't do that. I don't do any of that stuff anymore. It's all like make the point no matter what, because it's like, you know, why are you? Well, I gotta ask, why are you so nice to all your friends? I'm like, you know, one day you might wake up and you won't be able to.
right. That's interesting. Do you find that does that put sort of a burden on things though? Does that like, um, does that kind of have you sort of in an subconsciously altered state or altered state of awareness that you have to almost make the best out of every moment? Do you ever find yourself where you can't really just sort of relax and have fun? Because I know for me, like shooting the shit with people is that's kind of like my way of first making, depending on, I kind of always am adaptive to who it is, but just kind of trying to make the situation light because I want other people to feel like, you know, like comfortable and sort of relax into themselves around me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But without being able to do that, or at least whenever I do that, I feel like I discover other parts of people that I probably wouldn't if I was a bit more formal. So it's almost like you're putting more, I don't know, more pressure on us on your interactions with people. And does that inhibit, you know, any kind of spontaneity or, you know, is it something you're ever aware of, like in that sense?
I don't think it inhibits anything. Honestly, if anything, it makes, I don't know, it kind of has made me appreciate those little moments like that more,
Value
right?
more? Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause, like even if we don't do anything, you know, just kind of hanging out and enjoying our time. It's, I don't know, because I've also for other reasons become very much like in love with the little things,
Yeah.
life, and the little thing, like the little things, and those moments like that make life special.
Right.
Um, so I don't think so. I think it's just kind of like, not that I feel I need to make bigger moments, but more so like I appreciate every little moment.
Right. I
Mhm.
like that. So, and the reason why I'm asking actually, because that's, while not exactly what I was anticipating to be given to work with, it actually works really well because we take Nick, right? And Christian, this is geared towards you because I'm gonna ask you in a sec also, but so we take Nick and sort of Nick's approach, after post death of this friend of his, right? And it, you know, for all intents and purposes, it sounds like it was a life-changing, you know, experience in his life, but he was able to, you know, at least from what he says, mold it into something that that has made him, you know, a better person, more appreciative of life. Rue, on the contrary, has done exactly the opposite, right? Rue has literally crawled like back inside of herself. And to the degree that she refuses to like develop any kind of connection with anybody, right? And so the curious thing is, like, is there, she has this resentment by like withdrawing back into herself and not being able to speak to anybody about it or even figure it out for herself. And this is the main thing for me, I believe, why I asked, do you think she's talked about it like with their family? I feel like she hasn't for some reason, just based off of this conversation. It feels like she hasn't, or if she has, there was a generalized bitterness in the household about the loss of her father. So let's say that even, let's say, you know, for the sake of indulgence, that we've not seen the rest of Euphoria. All we have is this particular scene, right, Christian? And everybody for that matter. The way that she's speaking about the death of her father, let's say that she was close to her mom, I would say, damn, her mother must feel the same way, because otherwise her mother would help her, to process this or to go through this. But, we know from watching the show that like they don't have a particularly close conversation. The question I was going to ask was, is there any part in there where she does sit down and talk to her mom about her dad's death, where, and this is the most important thing, where her mother acknowledges how close Rue was with her dad? I don't remember there was, but if there was, please remind me.
There isn't, but they don't talk about it, but she definitely shows it. There's like a part where her mom had like a new date, boyfriend,
Right.
and she was like, I don't want him here. I
Yeah.
don't know why he said my dad used to say him.
Yeah.
And like, I was just like her instant thought of seeing somebody that's not her dad, seeing her mom, something that's like not with her own dad.
Yeah. Yeah. But the mom doesn't like really sit down and have that conversation or anything with her. The mom is more like, this is my choice. Like, what do you think about that? I said, what do you think about that approach? And I guess for everybody, has everybody seen Euphoria? Say yes, because I can't see y'all's lips moving. No. Mike, have
First
you?
season.
No, but I know
No,
what it
okay.
is.
All right. Well, without any spoilers or whatever, I don't believe that there is a time when she sat down, and what I'm driving at is this. Rue had a very close relationship with her dad. She had a bit of a difficult relationship with her mom, even when the dad was alive. Because if y'all remember, so she was diagnosed with OCD and put onto a whole bunch of different types of medications. And I wouldn't be surprised if, bipolar was a part of it or something. I don't know, but this poor kid definitely, was having a rough go in her early years. And between the mother and the father, mother was more like fix her, how do we fix her? And don't indulge her and you try to train it out of her kind of thing. It seemed like the dad was a bit more sympathetic and kind of accepting and tried to find, basically he was just there for her. Like he was this loving kind of person that she could go to and feel loved regardless of, exactly who she was, regardless of what. Like she wasn't any different when she was around her dad. She was just his daughter and he was just her dad, And so that was her place of safety, because at school she stood out as well, if I remember correctly, at a young age. Is that right, Christian? She's kind of an oddball.
It was like nobody really paid like attention to, like people knew her. It was just like she didn't make herself pop out. She just like always thought to herself, never really talked to other people.
Yeah. And so then that isolation just grew exponentially when her father died. So there was basically never a time when she was able to sort of sit down and voice how she felt about these things. I don't feel that if I were to say, was there a specific conversation between she and her mother where they spoke about, faith, right? Or a belief in a higher power and, anything about like a God, creating the universe, It seems like that there was never a conversation like that. Did they go to church though? Does her mother go to church? I can't remember. Okay.
They take
So
her to church.
say it again.
They go to church and she would take her to church. She can get better. Like she did it for her mom's sake, not for her.
Yeah, I think that happens a lot nowadays with kids. So then whatever it was, that concept of God and faith, the death of her father embittered her towards that. And so, what's one of the things that people always say? They do always say he's in a better place or she's in a better place now. Stuff like that. It's like for a teenager who's trying to figure things out and they've just experienced this massive loss and this person is suddenly gone. those types of things don't help. It doesn't help to say something like that, right? Because they take it literally. And when you think of it literally, yeah, it really kind of does sound the way that she says, you know? If I take what you're saying literally, then that must mean that, yeah, that my dad wasn't important and that's why he's dead, you know? And without someone there to explain that any further, it's easy to see how she would formulate that type of belief. And so that would just foster, you know, the anger, the resentment, the doubt, and everything else that's inside of her. Now, you know, multiply that by the fact that she's developed substance issues and they put her into a program that is heavily based on the belief in a higher power. And so more than likely, every time that she sat down and been dealt with by people in a rehab or in a program, they've come to her from that approach. And so she can't get past, you know, oh, wow, that was weird, dude. Did you move your head to the right just now, Christian? You did? Okay, because it glitched and it made a weird sound. Oh my God, I swear it was like my laptop was possessed. And we're talking about God. I'm so scared right now. Ooh, let me get some holy water. But we can see how this poor girl is kind of messed up inside. And I think the long and short of it to me is that she can't go home and say, hey, mom, this man started talking to me about this at, you know, at the AA meeting, and I have some issues. Can we talk about it? That's not going to happen, right? That's not an option for her. In fact, the majority of the show, we see her, she's out on the streets by herself, trying to find somebody to talk to, or protect her or listen to. And that's a sad place to be, right? So that being said, it seems like, you know, the typical, the last person I want to talk to was an adult about any of this shit, you know, grown-ups suck. Only, you know, people my age understand. So she's really in this place, this very, very sort of negative place. And this guy pulls her aside and offers her some food. She's hungry. She's like, what the hell, I'll do it. I'll indulge him. And now the conversation begins. And she just kind of snaps, I feel. At this moment, she sort of snaps. And now this might be something that she's thought about before, but never actually voiced to anybody for whatever reason. She feels comfortable that she can be straightforward with this guy because he's letting her be, right? He's letting her speak her mind and he's listening. Do y'all think this is the first time she's ever voiced that idea about the higher power?
Nuh-uh.
No?
Mm-mm.
Tell me about that, Mike.
If I'm just going based off the script,
Can I see you?
well, it's not possible at the moment.
Okay, no
Unfortunately,
worries.
I'm on my phone. I'm
That's
on
all right.
my
That's all right. Don't worry about it.
Well, I guess if she was saying that that she doesn't believe in God, I don't think she's came out and said that before, but I do think that she's made like hints. Like I feel like there's probably been like little things. You know what I mean? Maybe they haven't had this full on conversation, but I feel like she's probably insinuated it.
To other people, or because I think this is the first time she's ever had the conversation with this particular guy. So like maybe to friends,
Well,
I think, or
yeah, because she said if you're about to, like, there was multiple points whenever she was like, you know, if you're about to say, you know, that my dad died because this is usually what everybody always says. You know what I mean? Like
right,
I've heard this before. So if you're
right.
about to tell me what everybody else has already said, like then I'm gonna walk the fuck out because I already know what's coming. So that's what leads me to believe that she's had this like before with people.
Okay, and so then let's get even more specific. And again, this is an exercise for everybody. So I want everybody to please, you know, offer their opinion. I'm gonna, I guess, lead first so that y'all maybe know what type of responses I'm sort of looking for. It is hot as shit in here. I'm picturing her being at the funeral, her father's funeral, and I'm seeing her crying, and I'm seeing, you know, friends of the family, primarily older people, who are coming by and saying, he's in a better place, sweetie. It's okay. At least he's not suffering. Oh, you gotta go. Okay, bye, Lydia. Do you guys see where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
The other option would
Yeah.
be in a rehab. right? In the rehab, I'm sure they address that and they tell her stuff like that, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
third thing, so she's going to the AA meetings, and this guy has been trying to get to her for a while. He's been trying to talk to her. He's tried to strike up a conversation with her on more than one occasion, and she's always kind of walked away from him. So here, finally, he's gotten her. She's like, okay, fuck it, I'll go. And she goes and sits down and has a conversation with him. So there's already sort of an element of, what's the word I'm looking for? She's not cocky. She's not, what is she?
What would that be called?
We got to find the right word here. And it needs to be a word that speaks to you, Christian. What do you think her overall tone is? She didn't go up to him and say, hey, you feel like buying me that cup of coffee? Oh, wait, she calls him. Doesn't she call him, Christian?
This is like after the first season, but not in the season. It might have been like a call.
Okay. So she reaches out to him because I think the other girl had like left. Or is this the one where the girl left or was not? They went
Like,
on the train to his friends.
yeah, this is like right after that last episode. And then she goes doing drugs.
Yeah. Okay. So she kind of is seeking help, but at the same time, she's not like 100% willing to just sort of give in to whatever it is that he says. Why is all of this important? Well, because we have to justify why, we have to, first of all, figure out what the proper emotion is behind this for her in her delivery. And then we have to be able to justify why she's feeling that emotion. So it's a culmination of a lot of things, of people trying to, try to get her to believe that, that there is a higher power, and that's why her father was taken away. And that's just not what she's trying to hear right now. Right now, all she knows is just she needs to talk to somebody, but she doesn't want to be proselytized to, right? So when he gets to that point in the conversation where he says those things, it's almost hair trigger. The response is almost hair trigger. The emotion escalates rather quickly inside of her. And since he's willing to listen, she goes there. She goes kind of, full force with it. In terms of, don't give me that shit, I don't want to hear it, and then she tells you what her reasoning behind it is. So she's feeling very passionate about this particular topic. And so again, I believe that there's a whole lot of emotion that drives the second part of that. The second part of this scene. Okay. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that being said, I want to do one more this time. Christian, again, I want you to read Ali, and Mike, I want you to read Rue. Let's go right into it, please.
Okay. Hold on. I gotta pull it up again.
All right.
Sorry.
All right.
You want me to read Ali?
Yes.
And you started on page 16, right, Christian?
Yeah, I thought I was reading on.
No, I want Christian to read Ali.
Okay. And you want me to read Rue? Okay.
That doesn't make any.
It does. Yeah, it does. It does.
What?
The impact that Try a Little Tenderness had on the world is more than I could ever do. It's probably more than any of us will ever fucking do.
All right. Smart ass. Okay, that's not gonna cut it.
Look, Ali, I don't believe in God.
Guess what? God doesn't give a fuck if you believe in him. He believes in you.
Yeah, I don't know. Look, that sounds good, but it doesn't really mean anything.
Of course it means something. If God didn't believe in you, you still wouldn't be breathing.
So you're telling me the reason my dad died is because God didn't believe in him?
Bro, that's not what I was.
There's nothing that makes me angrier than that fucking argument.
Man, that's not what I was saying.
Because every time somebody survives like a mass shooting or some terrible fucking earthquake, oh, well, I survived for a reason. God saved me for a reason. I have a purpose. And then I think to myself, like, okay, well, if what you're saying is Okay, so like what you're saying is that your life is more important than that 6-year-old who died that day, or the newborn who died that day, or anybody fucking else that died that day. Your life has a purpose, right? Well, why does your life have a purpose and my dad's doesn't? Because I could argue that my dad's purpose was to raise me and my sister and to be there for my mom. That was his purpose. I mean, I think, but you know, he's dead.
Listen,
Ali, if you're about to tell me that he died for a reason, or you know, whatever the fuck people say, I will walk out.
I wasn't.
He didn't die to teach us a lesson, okay? He didn't die to, you know, have us all come together or whatever the fuck you people tell people that don't have anything else to say. He died because he died, and that's it. Same stupid reason I came out of the womb with a few wires crossed, right? It's just fucking luck. You said it, and that's it.
Nice.
Nothing.
Let's switch, and then Christian, go ahead and do your say. Do it.
That doesn't make any sense.
It does. Yeah, it does. It does.
What?
But the impact that Shiloh Tilden has had on this world is more than I could ever,
Well,
than probably any of us will ever fucking do.
all right. All right, you little smartass. Okay, that's not gonna cut it.
Oh yeah, I don't.
Guess what? God doesn't give a fuck if you believe in him. He believes in you.
I don't know. That sounds good. It really does, but it doesn't really mean anything.
Of course it means something. If God didn't believe in you, you wouldn't still be breathing.
So you're saying the reason my dad dies because God didn't believe in him?
Rue.
You know, there's nothing that makes me angrier than that fucking argument.
Hey, look, that's not what I was saying.
You know, because every time someone survives like a mass shooting or some terrible fucking earthquake, they always say, I survived for a reason. God saved me for a reason. I have a purpose. And then I think to myself, well, okay. Then what you're saying is that your life is more important than a 6-year-old who died that day. Or the newborn who died that day, or anybody fucking else who died that day. Your life has a purpose, right? Then why does your life have a purpose and my dad's doesn't? Because I could argue that his purpose was to be there for me and my sister, be there for my mom. No, that's what's his purpose, I think. But you know, he's dead. So
Listen, Rue,
Ali, if you're about to tell me that he died for a reason or whatever, I will walk the fuck.
I wasn't gonna say that.
He didn't die to teach us a lesson. He didn't die for us to all come together or whatever the fuck people tell people when they have nothing else to say. He died because he died. That's it. Same stupid reason I came out of the womb with a couple wires crossed, right? Just fucking love. That's it. You said it.
Boom. I like that one. I really like that one. That was like well measured. It wasn't too far over the top, but it was intense enough and passionate enough for us to feel like Christian feeling this. That's what I want. That's
Okay.
what I'm looking for in a take. So do you remember what that felt like?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I want for you to run this a couple of times, not too many, because I don't want it to feel overdone and I don't want it to feel acted, but stay within these parameters. And then at the next coaching, then I want to just go right into taping it. Do me a favor, don't go back to where we were, please. Stay right here where you are. Okay, stay right here at this energy level where it's volatile. I love the volatility. The volatility works much better for you in this scene.
Okay.
All right. Do you have questions for me? on
I don't think-
this? Okay. That, I think that worked. That was really cool. I like that. Having you guys read the other characters and stuff. Because ideally the purpose is to get y'all to understand the other person's perspective so that when you go back to your character, it makes a bit more sense. Okay.
Mhm.
So we got a Tuesday class lined up at either 7 or 8. I'll let y'all know by Monday. And then I would like to see Christian ready to go on his scene, Nick ready to go on that scene that you just did, using the same approach that we used today. Mike, I'm gonna look at your text. Sarah, I gotta get you registered so that we can, or I mean locked in, so we can start going for something on your end as well. And other than that, shoot me your avails for next week, starting Tuesday going forward.
Okay.
Okay, everybody?
Mhm.
Cool. This is a fun class. Good exercise. I liked it.
Oh,
Good
and
job,
also,
everyone.
Crystal,
Yes,
do you
sir.
want me to resend you the first one I sent you?
Yes, please do. Anything that you've sent me a week ago, so resend it to me today.
Okay. Okay.
All right?
Yep.
All right, you guys. Good class today. Good work. Thank you. Talk to you.
You